Hello and welcome back to Gratuitous Space Battles 2. My name's Negative Root and let's get cracking. We're going to play mission number 7 with the Terrans. So we've got 180k and you can see what we're up against. Now this is the solution that I've come up with. Again, Hammer Mark 3s, Venoms and support destroyers. 32%. I thought that was a pretty good score. I'm thinking that 30% is probably, if you can get it under 30%, you're getting a good score for the mission. That goes for all of them. I think is where this is at. And you can see I'm using 44 ships, so that's pretty good. Let's see what we can come up against in this, and let's see how we go. Let's do this thing. Now the reason I've stuck them over in this left corner is for two reasons. Firstly, weight of fire. Very important, I think, to get a really good weight of fire, because you can see that all these little frickin' frigates are going to just dive in, and there's a huge knot of them down here. These destroyers are a problem, and we'll lose ships to these. There's no way around that. They're just too powerful. Then lastly, these are really tough. So what ends up happening is we kind of got three waves here. So this is the first wave to the left, a second wave in the middle, and the third wave at the end. The way I've set it up here is so that hopefully each of the ships can lend each other support whilst, you know, really doing some damage to the opposition. It's very interesting to see these frigates, because we can wipe them out very quickly, but we can't wipe them out that quickly, if you know what I mean, because there are tons of them. So we'll just speed up things until the major conflict starts. Okay, there we go. So we're to grips with the enemy now. Now I had to turn off some things for this this battle. Namely, I had to turn off debris and a few other bits and pieces. So you can see them being wiped out now, but not before they get into beam range. Not ideal. Ideally we'd wipe them out before they got close. So this first kind of wave, right, it's all frigates, and they consist of pretty much beam weapons, so they dive in as fast as they can to try and wipe you out. Now the reason I've gone with the double line is because they close into and inside of the range of these front line ships, but hopefully these back ones can still range on them if they're lucky. So you can see them coming in, and we're just wiping them out as they come in. The important thing is to maintain health throughout all of this and not lose anything too major. But you can see that we are taking some hits across the fleet, which I think is unavoidable because there's just too many of them to wipe out effectively before they get in too close. You can see there is the occasional missile coming in, and it's being dealt with hopefully by point defense. You can see that this wave is pretty much dealt with for the moment. And this is something that ends up happening, is these frigates get around the edge and try and start shooting around the corner at me. And it's forcing my ships to react and kind of get out of position a little bit, which isn't ideal. But basically we're relying on our firepower rather than our maneuverability, because it doesn't seem that maneuverability is that important in this game. You know, it's all about the firepower. So you can see that we've pretty much cleared this wave now, and these stragglers will hit as they come in, and it gives our ships a little bit of time to remove these buggers hanging around, and then for these to refocus, maneuver, and get pointed in the right direction, ready to face these destroyers, or dreadnoughts rather. So that first wave we got through pretty easily because of their beam weapons and lack of long range. However, these dreadnoughts, what will happen is they'll just soak up the damage and walk right through our incoming fire. And what they have on board is a couple of beam weapons and then missiles similar to ours. So the point defense becomes very important. There it is. So you can see that that's what happens, is they start shooting those long range beam weapons at us. I have no idea what they are, but they're hardcore. And they can do that from outside our range, so they get the first shot basically. And then you can see how many support beams are keeping their shields online. And the weight of fire is quite substantial that we have to pour into them. But you see, as I said, we lose ships because now there's some ranged missiles heading in the opposite direction. Luckily though, we get quite a good pounding of our own onto them. And this is why the Venoms are important. It's because these missiles, if they start hitting like ours do, you can lose dreadnoughts very quickly, just like they did. You can see the amount of support beams they've got to try and help their dreadnoughts get into that attack range to really start doing some damage to us. And basically it becomes a slugging match almost. So we took the cruiser and the dreadnought, which is great. And we're doing enough here to hold them out. We've lost one. We've lost one ship so far, or two ships, well, that's going to be a third very shortly. But we've taken out over 58% of their fighting force in return. So that's a pretty good loss ratio, really. And I've found that the bigger these fleets get, the more varied they become in their offensive weapons. Let's have a look at this targeting. It's a little bit odd right now. Oh, there goes the dreadnought. And it looks like it wiped out a few of their ships as well as it was going. So we're losing ships now because, as I said, that middle wave is quite tough. And then it becomes about holding on, basically. Okay, we'll just speed this up so this third wave can finally get to us and we can get this battle finished. Oh, there we go. So they're into range now. And you can see when a couple of ships focus on one of theirs, it just becomes a slaughter. You know, considering how long this ship's been taking fire for, as a comparison, you know, one of their cruisers didn't last even fractionally as long. Now there are some gunships that come flying in from this dreadnought that do actually do some shield damage. Now, as I was saying about these little buggers, they're tough. So you can see that some of my weapons do get through, but some of them, the shield resistance is too high. Once we get through the shields, we're okay, but these are very, very tough, so you got to watch out for that and make sure you carry enough penetration in your weapons to actually to do the damage and get them destroyed. And see that these still have their shields now. If I was the computer, oh yeah, cop that. Did you see that massive armor shockwave there? If I was the computer, having some a support destroyer behind these would be absolutely instrumental. You can see that we've taken out the shields on the Dreadnought, and that just went down as well. You can see our missiles really starting to, like, the weight of our fire is just so strong that it does tell in the battle. And whilst we've lost plenty of ships this time around, you know, we've dropped 20% of ours, we've taken out, you know, so much of their fighting force, it's not funny. And they just keep pounding on the Dreadnought now, is the way I've got the priority set up. And there it is. So my solution to the battle, let me jump back into it and I'll show it to you. There you go, 32%. I was happy with that. Thank you very much for joining me. I'd love to see your thoughts on it, your strategy, your tactics, because I'm still operating under my own ideas, and I'd love to see someone else's. So be sure to send it through. Until next time, thank you for joining me.